this season. Ready to go here. And Alabama wins the tip. And Sears gives off to Phylon. Alabama without Latrell Wrightsell, who had surgery today on a torn Achilles. Kick out Nelson, who puts it on the floor.
And the key for North Carolina is to get off to good starts. Each game in Maui, they find themselves down double digits, having to claw back in each battle.
Carolina aggressive defensively. Phylon, shot clock winding down. Nelson heaves it up off the mark. Trimble absorbs the bump at the basket, and it's blocked, but they get the foul.
The majority of North Carolina
blows the whistle there. It's so loud in here that nobody heard it.
Look, the majority of North Carolina shots will come within the first 10 seconds of the shot clock. You talk about a fast pace. Alabama has a high assisted ratio on all their shots they knock down, and Carolina just plays with a blazing speed. Transition defense will be imperative for Alabama.
And Nate Oates shares that same philosophy. He likes to get a shot up inside the first 10, 12 seconds. Oates and Alabama here in Chapel Hill, and a good one here tonight. Trimble. Look at Seth Trimble and the step forward that he has taken, especially those three-point numbers, and now well into double figures. With the three guards, or at least he's basically playing a small forward spot, so they're undersized compared to Alabama.
Well, he's a good defender. Also, he's a guy knocking down the shot from the outside. And all those guards, you talk about Hubert Davis, Elliot Cadeau, and Seth Trimble, account for 50% of the team's score. Great intensity and defense by North Carolina to start this game.
The crowd is fired up. Sears looking for some help. Phylon. That's off the mark. That's tipped away. Shot clock winding down. And it'll be a shot clock violation. Listen to this place. Hubert Davis in his fourth year as the head man, of course, was an outstanding player here. And last year, the ACC Player of the Year led him to the 1 seed and a regular season conference title. SEC has had the better of this challenge thus far, having won 9 of 10 over the ACC. Hard to believe. Trimble. Loose ball, and eventually Omori picks it up. Bama the other way. Stevenson, the kid from Chapel Hill, backs down, has it knocked away.
A great job by North Carolina to hold their ground on an ISO play.
Davis, good feed. Washington had it swatted away. Sears up ahead. Nelson, and that's off the side of the backboard. Up and down we go, but only 2 points. And coming from the free throw line.
Remember last time these teams played, Grant Nelson had 24 points. It's really when his NBA comp really skyrocketed as a player. Really showed you his versatility all over the court. Had a pretty monstrous game to lead this team to the Elite Eight.
Davis, that three-point attempt missed by a lot. Nate Oates, what a job he's done since coming from Buffalo. 6th season as the Alabama head coach, took them to their first Final Four in program history. And the Bamalytics, as they like to talk about, started way back in his first year, but the emphasis on the stats that really matter and all the good information. And Nate Oates has done a wonderful job for the Crimson Tide.
Threes, layups, and free throws.
Sounds like the NBA. Sears inside, off the glass, and good. Nice job by Mark Sears, whose season is off to a slow start.
Yeah, hasn't been shooting the ball that well. Like I said, in open, 28% from the three-point line. Has to find his rhythm, but I like the body control and the fact that a guard with his upper body frame can initiate contact, which allows himself to kind of recounter, rebalance off the big.
Omori the handoff to Stevenson.
Good
and
help.
Now the lob, and that's off the mark. And Van Allen Lubin comes up with a rebound. Now Trimble the other end. And Nelson pulls down the rebound. Look at the big guy go. Spinning into the lane, off the glass, and Nelson will shoot 2.
And when we were talking about Mark Sears before, just off of DHO, you got to get out there and hedge at him. If you give him that space, that's what North Carolina talked about today in shoot around. He just gobbles up all that open space. You have to be physical, get in his way, and initiate the contact.
Foul on Seth Trimble, his first. And here's Nelson at the line. You mentioned the Sweet 16. Nelson went for 24 and 12 and 5 blocks.
I mean, he leads the team in 15 offensive rebounds versus Oregon. Had a tough shooting night, only 7 points. You know, him and Mark Sears need to be explosive in a game like this, considering Whitesell is not on the court. Your best players need to have their best games in order for your team to get road wins.
Alabama coming off a loss to Oregon. And for North Carolina, they've dropped 2 in a row. Last time out to Michigan State in overtime, prior to that against Auburn.
Just 15 turnovers for Alabama in a game against Auburn and against Oregon. Excuse me. Oregon had 18 points off those turnovers.
Kick up ahead. Sears in transition to 3. That wouldn't fall. Picks it up. Kick up ahead. There's Jackson. Captain Jack throws it down. Back at the other end. And Darian Reed, the freshman, with the triple. Elliot Cadeau handling, hesitates, and left hand a little too strong. Sears unimpeded right to the rim.
What a change of speed by Mark Sears. This miscommunication by North Carolina. Somebody has to take the ball.
Davis buries it. Davis so far this season just 27% from 3, but preseason ACC Player of the Year and preseason first team All-America. Sears into the paint, scoops it in. Withers gets inside, hesitates, and he traveled. Here in the early going, Alabama with an 11-7 lead. Up and down we go. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Continental Tire, the smart choice in tires. That helps save lives. So you can join the fight against cancer by visiting v.org/donate. And remember, 100% of your donation goes directly to cancer research.
So many fond memories of Stuart Scott as a player and as a colleague, and also of Jimmy V, hearing Coach K stories and the way other coaches have spoken about him. You know, book for you and I today, just looking for a good cup of Joe. Also all the people that work in the field as well to help all these people. Just want to give a shout out to Amanda Couch, Director of Radiation at Oncology, for all the hard work that her and her crew continue to do here, but all the people across the country and the world that put in the time and effort to help people.
Great work inside as Reed finds his way to the basket. Yeah, we were looking for a cup of coffee, and we ended up wandering into the North Carolina Basnight Cancer Hospital, and Amanda was nice enough to show us around a little bit, and we got to talk to their group. There's Sears into the paint, kick out, Holloway. And a rebound pulled down by Ian Jackson. Captain Jack, Euro step off the glass and in.
I tell you, between Drake Powell and Ian Jackson, 2 of the best wings in college basketball, and they're both coming into their own offensively and defensively.
Lubin able to pull it down. Both guys may be one and done. We'll see. Davis to Jackson. Hubert Davis talks about getting a text every night at the end of the day from Ian Jackson, and he simply texts Coach Davis. And Hubert responds, "What's up?" And he says, "How can I improve my basketball game?" And Hubert will let him know, or sometimes he'll say, "Go to bed."
Well, he's just an absolute competitor. Not sure if I like that shot at North Carolina, plays fast. But the last three-point shot he got was in the rhythm of the offense. And he's so good at attacking and getting to positions on the floor.
Holloway now knocks it down. Aiden Holloway. Alabama the early lead, 18-12, and without one of their top players for the rest of the year, Latrell Wrightsell, who was out after suffering that Achilles injury. They should be getting back Chris Youngblood, coming off September ankle surgery. They're hoping maybe for the Creighton game. Oh, bunny missed by Ben Allen Lubin. Point blank, he couldn't hit, and back the other way for the tie. Holloway, and that three wouldn't go. And Lubin pulls it down. Davis into the paint, scoops it home with the left hand.
Well, the big thing for R.J. Davis is he's going to have to find ways to get into those gaps and get some easy ones. We talked last year about the sides of Alabama defending him. They're going to try to blow up screens on side pick and rolls, and they're going to switch. You saw Sherrill guarding him before. Can't settle for long shots over that length.
Sears able to knock that one down. Been a slow start for him. Just 29 points, 29% from three. He's got 11 points in this game, so he's off to a good start. But a guy who normally knocks down a lot of threes, been sluggish from beyond the arc thus far this year. Withers, and Reed comes flying in, and Alabama the other way. They don't have numbers.
Good drive and kick.
That one to the corner, and that one thrown away. I mean, right at me.
Well, we said before, this was a battle for pound, the best guard in the country. Mark Sears just having too much space to operate. Lubin has to crowd that space, and probing in transition, nobody takes the ball. Then once again, off a pick and roll, the bigs from North Carolina just need to have more awareness on where Mark Sears is on the court at all times. He's absolutely feeling it with 11 points so far in the opening 5 minutes of this ball game.
Yeah, you compare Sears to Carolina, up and down we go. I was saying as we went to the break, and that affects everybody. Yeah, the players, the broadcasters, even the officials. Sears off to a good start. I was talking with Roger Ayers, one of the officials here tonight, and there he is. And Raj said, yeah, I probably could run here tonight more than any game this season. That's the potential. And that shot knocked out of bounds. Roger Ayers did mention to me, though, he said that is why I use the extra hair gel.
I mean, they're sweating profusively out here already.
Oh, my gosh.
We've had so many possessions in this game, and that's what this whole game is going to be. It's a war of attrition. The team that's in the best condition and the team that can play fast, think slow down the stretch will win this game.
Trimble a little strong. You see he's checked into the game for Alabama. The Pepperdine transfer, Houston Millett.
The transition defense is going to be critical for North Carolina. Alabama averages 10 made threes per game. They get the majority of those threes in transition. So getting back and protecting the paint, but also pointing towards where shooters are and good recognition is critical.
When do you remember the transition three starting to become such a focal part of offense in basketball?
Well, it's Bamalytics, right? I mean, that's how the NBA plays, especially when you start playing teams that have 4 out, 5 out. Young players are flaring towards the three-point line instead of going for easier twos.
Nelson pushes it up ahead. Aiden Holloway hesitating, took it out, back towards the basket, and then it's knocked out of bounds. Roger with the good hands. Roger Ayers. Alabama with a 21-14 lead. And again, this part one of our doubleheaders. Jimmy V week continues. Mark Sears off to a fast start. Duke and Auburn still to come. Somebody will be shooting a free throw at halftime of that game at Cameron. More on that coming up. Somebody.
If I'm Elliot Cadeau, I'm going to get more ball screens with Amiyuri just because he's playing in drop coverage. He's going to get shots. He just needs to pick his spots and make plays.
Washington, and that one wouldn't fall, but Powell the rebound. Drake Powell, likely their best pro prospect.
Tough split.
And that one taken away. Millett up ahead. Tosses it back to left hand, wouldn't fall, and the putback goes for Phylon. Baron Phylon after the miss, and it's a 9-point advantage. Under 10 to go here, first half. Alabama on top. John Shambi and Jay Williams with you.
You're going to get shots. You can get to that elbow spot. I mean, Yuri's so far back. He's at the ACC level.
And they get Sears on the foul. And folks, a reminder, the SEC ACC Women's Challenge continues tomorrow night. Number 18 Ole Miss squares off against NC State. That's at 7 Eastern on ESPN2, and our ESPN doubleheader has 4th-ranked Texas going up against 10th-ranked Notre Dame. And that'll be followed by number 8 Duke and number 3 South Carolina.
I said earlier that R.J. Davis, Elliot Cadeau, and Seth Trimble account for 50% of their team's scoring. Those guys have to find a way to get it going offensively. I don't like settling.
That one deep and off the mark. Put back from Ty Claw. Well, one of the things that Hubert Davis talked about, they need to offensive rebound. And they got a big one there. To the corner, and Millett knocks it down.
Right side out. Houston Millett was redshirting, and he got his number called. Nate Oates talked about it today. It's like, hey, look, we need him to play at a higher level. We need more bodies until they're able to get Chris Youngblood back. That's a good dribble baseline, corner drift. Millett's hands are ready for that the whole time.
Yeah, Houston Millett coming into tonight, hadn't played because they were going to redshirt him last year at Pepperdine. 14.7 points per game on 42% from 3. They were going to redshirt him at least in part because of some knee issues that he was having, but now a little bit more thin with Reitzel out. Davis weaves through traffic, and then it hits the back iron and kicks out. Phylon, left hand, it's good.
And that's where it gets tough with Alabama's offense playing 5 out. It doesn't leave anybody underneath the basket to be a rim protector, and that's what Nate Oates, that's what they do.
Davis comes to the basket and find him, and he puts it in for the deuce. These are 2 of the top scoring teams in the country. And a deep three from Aiden Holloway. And in terms of adjusted offensive efficiency, both teams are in the top 10.
Well, Ty Claude, if the way Aiden Holloway, the Auburn transfer, which still blows my mind that I'm saying out loud to Alabama.
Yep.
But you got to get up on those ball screens. These guys, they're trigger ready all the time, ready to catch, shoot, and release.
Trimble absorbs the contact here in the early going. It's number 10 Alabama wants to show something off here tonight. He was 0 for 9 from 3 in that game.
Yeah, but this is a different North Carolina team. Obviously, no Armando Bacot, no Harrison Ingram. You know, you talk about the presence that those 2 had defensively and also in the post. And it's a different North Carolina team without having a rim protector, so a lot of their offensive production needs to come from their guards. But the last 2 matchups these 2 teams have been exhilarating. You talk about the game before that was the 4 overtime game at the Phil Knight Invitational.
There's Powell now, hesitates, puts it on the floor. The smaller Sears was on him. Cadeau from way downtown, off the glass, no good.
Look, North Carolina has to draw a line in the sand defensively. Alabama shooting 50% from the field, 42% from the 3-point line. And I know this game is going to have a fast pace, but North Carolina has to start digging in. And we talked about early game deficits. This is what they've done in their last 3 games in a row.
Got double-figure deficits for the Tar Heels. They had that epic comeback against Dayton. Reed kicks out. Holloway gives off to Sears. He's got Trimble on him. Now it's Davis. All-Americans squaring off. Reed to the corner, and Holloway, that wouldn't fall. Wow. Loose ball and an offensive rebound from Diabate. And eventually Carolina comes away with it. Davis right at Sears. And under, score. And they'll go to the line.
Alabama just everywhere on the offensive glass, but multiple white jerseys on the ground diving for those 50-50 balls. And R.J. Davis is doing what he does. Don't know really where the foul was. Oh, it's right towards the end. So R.J., that's what he needs to do. Get it going in transition, and that's where North Carolina is at their best, off defensive rebounding and pushing the ball.
Hubert Davis fired up. Talking to Hubert Davis pregame, and he was mentioning that he could relate a little bit to R.J. Davis being kind of the Lone Rangers. Hubert talked about when his roommates all left, King Rice and Rick Fox and Pete Chilcutt, and it was like, hey, where'd everybody go? And it's an adjustment. Feed inside, shot contested. Jackson had it, lost it, and now it's Cadeau into the front court. And Carolina looking to chip away at an 8-point deficit. Lubin had it blocked, but they get the foul.
You just feel a different sense of urgency from North Carolina on a defensive end. A ton of deflections. They're getting those hands in those gaps. People are communicating more. The energy is just different in the building, and Elliot Cadeau just doing so good. Has a 3-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio, changing speeds, getting in those gaps, and making a play at the rim for Lubin.
Diabate charged with the foul. Van Allen Lubin will go to the line. You talked about lack of post-up for North Carolina. Just start with lack of size in the rotation. Alabama has 4 guys 6'10" or bigger, and for North Carolina, they basically play one, Jalen Washington.
Well, we also talked about the staple for North Carolina used to be on the offensive glass, and a guy like Lubin leads the team in offensive rebounding and plays the 8th most minutes on the squad. So it gives you insight to that's not their strength this year, but there's still a ton of room for improvement with some of these players that have on their roster down low on the block.
It's a 7-0 North Carolina run, and the crowd getting into it here at the Dean Smith Center. Foul on the floor. And that last foul on Cadeau.
But we talked about these early game deficits for North Carolina, where their slow starts have hurt them. 21 points down versus Dayton, 19 points down versus Auburn, 14 points down versus Michigan State. Have to find a way to come out of the gate and start executing defensively and connecting on offensive end early.
Powell swooping in for the rebound. Now it's Davis the other way. Drake Powell gets into the paint, kicks out. R.J. Davis. Carolina down by 6. Jackson, the freshman, hangs, can't hit. And a loose ball, and eventually Grant Nelson picks it up.
That's what Army really does. He leads this team in block shots, led Rutgers in block shots before he transferred. Just that solid rim defender that went up vertical.
Finally, good feed inside, and the throw down there for Amori.
Such a good feed. I feel like Charles Barkley. I've been calling him on the yard. You haven't even corrected me. What's going on?
Davis turns the corner, gets inside, hands, can't hit. And a rebound, Reed. Cadeau back the other way. Cadeau tried to go up and under, and he got fouled.
Alabama, I don't know about that last call. Alabama's so good at spacing out the floor. A good pass right there. And Amori just slipping the screen. Lubin goes out. Nobody rotates over from the weak side. Strong finish. Try to break the rim. How are you going to let me have Charles Barkley moments on national TV, bro? Come on, man.
No, I love you.
Set me up. They calling him that name all day long, and I'm from Jersey. Disappointed in myself. Nothing from you? Nothing?
I got nothing.
Zero.
I mean, I feel
no
bad
tap on the lid,
because I was aggressive with you today.
Extremely.
Because of the lack of GPS. I mean, you as our driver today.
Well, I've been in a motorcycle accident. I should be driving anybody.
I mean,
you should be driving.
I thought you just. Oh, Cadeau with the steal finds Jackson, collects and puts it in. And it's a 5-point game under 4.5 to go.
Good defense.
Oh,
boy. Can I see that replay? I am not sure. Ian Jackson is so good defensively. He's so quick. It looked like Aiden Holloway kind of shot that ball out there. Let's see here. Good in and out. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's a foul. That's a foul. But you still like the intensity.
Under 4:20 to go, 33-28. Alabama with the lead. John Shambi, Jay Williams. Phylon gets a piece of the paint, kick out. And that'll go for Aiden Holloway.
Just a different player. I feel like I'm watching Aiden Holloway perform than he was last year at Auburn. Just playing with so much more confidence offensively and not overthinking the game.
Great. Trimble, offensive rebound, but it wouldn't fall. And then Nelson had it knocked away. Couple of good looks at it right there. Phylon high, arcing shot, and that falls.
He is so good at dribble drive situations. So shifty to change speeds to get in those gaps.
Left hand wouldn't fall for Jackson, tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with North Carolina when we come back.
Who are some of the greatest players in Alabama history? Phylon, 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 Phylon. If you don't get the reference, look it up.
Kentucky, and that's a travel and go the other way. Sears with 11, Davis with 10.
Well, like I said before, for North Carolina, just needs to be more physicality on the perimeter. And Seth said it, straight line drives. Guys like Mark Sears, Phylon has been able to get to the rim at will.
Davis kick up ahead, Trimble off his hands, out of bounds, turnover.
And also big for North Carolina, 8 turnovers so far in this first half. And they've been unforced errors. Just a little bit sloppy with the basketball, not being sharp and precise.
And neither team shooting it exceptionally well. Alabama 46%, pretty good, but certainly not. As Sears turns that one over. That's one of the areas where Nate Oates wants to see them get better. Just too many turnovers.
At 15 versus Oregon, like I said, Oregon went for 18 points off those turnovers, but that's more the style of defense that you want to see from North Carolina's guards. And Seth Trimble, push up, body a guy like Mark Sears, make life uncomfortable.
Last 2 games, Alabama minus 18 in turnover margin against Oregon and against Rutgers. Davis, too strong, Nelson the rebound. And he got hit in the face. And that one is out of bounds, another turnover. Watch Nelson.
Withers right there. Yeah, raking up for the ball, coming right across the face. Should have been a foul. But as they used to say, no blood, no call.
Carolina in a drought, closing in on 2.5 minutes without a score. And Withers ends that drought.
Just because he's going to have the shot on the perimeter doesn't mean that he has to take it. He can gobble up that space and drive the ball and try to get Grant Nelson in foul trouble. He has the ability to put the ball on the ground and attack the rim.
That last foul on Seth Trimble.
See, earlier he was settled and take that shot, but no, attack Grant Nelson. Put the refs in a position to try to make a call, but that's where North Carolina can start getting more production from their bigs, attacking with points in the paint.
Phylon. Davis picks it up, toss up ahead, shoots it. And the kid from the Bronx with the throw. And it'll stay Alabama basketball. 1:29 to go here, first half.
It's a great look ahead by Hubert Davis and Jackson, the McDonald's All-American, bringing the energy to this team. And that's where him and Drake Powell could be game changers for them from an energy perspective, defensively on the perimeter and pushing the ball in transition. Just electric to watch.
Good back cut Nelson, and use the rim to protect himself from Withers, who was trying to contest. Claude. Caddell finds Davis, and it's rejected out of bounds. 16 on the shot clock.
This man is so good coming from the weak side. Led Rutgers in block shots each and every season. And he was a hot commodity this offseason. A lot of teams, you hear a lot of assistant coaches talk about the transfer portal, or as I like to call it, free agency, and some of the prices that guys drive for their ability. And that's what you get when you get a guy like him.
North Carolina was in on him. Georgetown, Kansas State. Withers can't hit. Claude. And it's knocked out of bounds. It'll be Alabama basketball. 1:04 to go here in the first half.
But that's a problem for a lot of these teams. When you have returning first-team All-American players, when you have McDonald's All-Americans, like everybody wants to get paid. So, like, what is your cap? How much can you afford realistically? With some of these prices, it's one of my themes. I have a theme this year for college basketball, and one of the 5 is bad investments. I think a lot of coaches I should not have paid this amount of money for this player. Now, that's not applicable here for Nate Oates and his roster, but it's a common thing I hear amongst coaches in college basketball.
Aiden Holloway knocks it down straight on 3. And the lead backed up to 11. Davis eyes. Claude with a good rebound. Back up and under. And it rattles home. Alabama leading by 9.
It's been a fast first half, hasn't it?
Step back Nelson, and it's short. Jackson the rebound, and we'll go to the break with Alabama on top 43-34. Yeah, just talked about the importance of what's efficient and how they track all their different shot types, etc. You're seeing it more and more in the college game.
Yeah, but also, Nate Oates has hired guys from the NBA. As you see the great pass right there by Powell for a strong slam. But, Nate Oates has brought on guys like Ryan Pennone, assistant with the New Orleans Pelicans, Brian Adams, hired from the Detroit Pistons. He's more like the defensive coordinator. They play an NBA-style system through and through. 7-point game. Sears. Got a text from my guy, Jalen Monroe. Shout out to you.
Inside. That one wouldn't go down for Amori. And Trimble hits the deck.
So Bama back in the playoffs, huh, for football.
Yeah, it's that way. 43-36 as we get going here in the second half. All right, a couple of notes. First half, Trimble with just 4 points. He averages 16 for the Heels. Elliot Cadeau with 1 point. He averages 14. So they're going to need more production from those two guys. Davis inside, off balance. Shot was short. And out of bounds. Which way? Which way? And Brian O'Connell said North Carolina basketball.
Also, Seth Trimble, a guy 1 of 6 from the field. He's been averaging 16 points, like you said before, but I think he needs to get a lot more things in transition, attacking, and finding a way to get to the free throw line. He was 2 of 2 in the first half, but he's a guy with his upper body frame. He should be averaging 8 to 9 free throw attempts per game, easily.
Davis knocks that one down, and RJ trying to heat it up in the second half, and they get the foul on Drake Powell. So the freshman fouling Grant Nelson. Drake Powell, a freshman from North Carolina. He's actually Hubert Davis's cousin, the 14th overall recruit in the ESPN 100.
Had his best game against Michigan State, 18 points in that one.
Stevenson kicks it out to Sears. Good ball movement. That's a really good look. Just didn't go down. Sears offensive rebound. Hangs, couldn't hit. And Sears will go to the line, and he will shoot 2.
He's just so strong with the ball. We said earlier that Alabama averages around 15 offensive rebounds per game. That's where they're deadly from the three-point line, but also on dribble drives. And Sears, with that larger upper body, can just absorb contact and averages 8 free throw attempts per game. A master at getting to the free throw line.
Well, that's a spot, though. Sears gets a good look, doesn't knock it down. North Carolina has got to collect the defensive rebound.
And Sears has 20 more free throw attempts than anybody else on their roster. That's how good he is at getting to the free throw line. Great job by Stevenson staying on top blocking that ball screen. He is making life difficult for RJ.
Davis hoists and can't hit. And then underneath, it was Jalen Washington getting shoved. And the foul will be on LeBaron Philon. And so Philon picks up the personal.
I mean, but look at that size difference right there between Stevenson and RJ. It's a guy who's 6'9", 6'10". He's shooting over that long extended. Even that shot right there, the degree of difficulty is so hard. It's like a 10 because the guy Stevenson's behind you but has that wingspan. He can block your shot from behind.
Nelson handoff to Sears, who's got Powell on him. And now it's Trimble on Sears. Shot clock under 10. I don't know that I've said that very much here in this game. And Stevenson knocks down to 3. The kid from Chapel Hill, whose mom, Nicole, played here at North Carolina. He's been in this building a ton. Back cut, Trimble. Wanders back into the paint. And up and under was short. Offensive rebound there from Washington. Back out, Carolina sets it back up. Down by 10. Washington. That one off the mark. And here comes Alabama. Sears feeds Nelson. Puts it in.
Just careless turnovers.
Philon weaving. Big shot. Beautiful. LeBaron Philon. He's got 8.
This is the second time that Elliot Caderos just telegraphed the pass. Even on the transition pass, he looked exactly where he wanted to pass the ball. Philon saw it, intercepted it, and then laid it in. And you talked about the young man from Chapel Hill that wanted to show you what it could do. Stevenson knocking down the 3. And Alabama doing it on the defensive end, causing havoc. Philon, you got the reference in the first half, is doing his thing. Floater.
Jay Billis, Chris Budden will have the call right here. 52-38. Biggest lead of the game for Alabama. Our star watch, Jedi Broome and Cooper Flagg. Broome is a handful.
I said, I know picking your National Player of the Year before you get to Christmas is similar to choosing the Heisman in August. But as of right now, Jedi Broome is National Player of the Year. I mean, he's averaging a double-double on 60% shooting from the field. The wins that Auburn has had against top-tier competition, there's nobody playing better in the country than Jedi Broome.
Bama on a 9-0 run. And the lead is 14. Davis hesitates. The feed. And the pass intercepted by Phylon. A lot of careless turnovers. Telegraph passes from North Carolina. Phylon short. And that one tipped out. Cadeau.
Well, those are the passes that are hard for R.J. Davis. Last year, that's a dunk by Harrison Ingram or Armando Bacot.
Davis just could not get it to fall. North Carolina in this one now 2 for 16 from the three-point line. And to me, it'd be hard to imagine Hubert Davis's group pulling off another amazing comeback without the aid of the three. They're going to have to start to heat up from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to start with a sense of urgency on the defensive end, creating some turnovers. Alabama could be careless with the ball at times. We've seen that in the game against Oregon, but they need pressure to be applied.
Jackson and one. And the freshman Ian Jackson will go to the line. Foul on Sears. That's his third. So that bears watching.
It's little things like that from a tactics perspective that I would try to attack whoever Mark Sears was guarding. Obviously, with Latrell Whitesell out, he really took care of the ball for them. He was their best three-point shooter. Now Aiden Holloway has to play a lot more minutes.
Yep.
Aiden Holloway can get going sometimes offensively, but he can also get into a rhythm where he can take bad shots and shoot you out of games. So attacking Mark Sears should be part of the game plan for North Carolina to get him off the court.
Asked Nate Oates, okay, so Reitzel's out. What does that do? He said somebody's going to have to step up and make shots. And plus, Reitzel was one of the guys that was taking care of the ball. Phylon into the paint, kick out, wide open. Stevenson.
How about Phylon just driving, getting to the paint, staying under control, ball fakes. He is looking at me. He just winked at me. Oh, my goodness.
Oh. Inside, hangs and hits.
NBA athleticism and talent.
Look at Nelson inside and the flush. Might have been an and one there. Cadeau, a little pocket pass, and he turns it over. Under 16 timeout, and Alabama with the lead. Jared Stevenson, his last 3 games, 7 for 9 from 3. He's been outstanding, and into your living room, Grant Nelson.
To me, shows how good of a team Alabama is. And look, I know there's a lot of talk about Cooper Flagg. Dylan Harper might be the best freshman in the country. He's been going off, but that game they had against Houston was a dogfight. They were emotionally drained. The fact that they were able to come back and beat Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey, it's a really good Steve Peichel team, and then lose to Oregon the way they did. This is an Alabama team that's going to contend for a national title. They get Chris Youngblood back. Obviously, having Reitzel out hurts him, but they are as talented as any team in the country.
Ben Allen Lubin with the bucket. And Carolina within 13.
You know, look, we talked about this, some of the careless turnovers for North Carolina. It's like that continuity. You know, some of the passes that Cadeau or R.J. Davis have thrown, typically guys like Armando Bacot, Harrison Ingram on pick and rolls, like they roll very quick or they understand how to slip. It still feels like they're trying to build out their continuity, their rhythm, their chemistry as a team offensively.
Nelson with Lubin on his hip. No contact. Davis got hit. Powell steps in the passing lane, grabs it. Up ahead, Davis. And the flush from Lubin.
And North Carolina put together a string of stops.
Nelson puts it on the floor. Carolina back the other way. Powell puts it in. Up ahead, and Nelson just waiting at the other end. Where's the offsides call?
I mean, where everybody from North Carolina was just trotting down the court. I don't think anybody had any awareness that Nelson was down there by himself.
That one rejected by Stevenson. And then Phylon, a foul on the floor. And that foul will be on Drake Powell.
If any team in the country should be aware of transition defense after a made bucket, it should be North Carolina. That's what they do so exceptionally well. You know, Alabama plays the same way.
Yeah. Yep. And a tough one for Elliot Cadeau. Just 1 point for the sophomore from New Jersey, who averages 14. Baron Phylon here. Turns the corner on Lubin at the basket, uses the left hand and puts it home.
Another layup. We talked about the fact that Elliot Cadeau, Seth Trimble, and R.J. Davis combined for over half of the team's points. Well, as of right now, they're 6 of 26 from the field.
Sears with the feed. And Omori with the deuce. He's got 4. I'll tell you, Phylon's been impressive. Just a freshman. Davis. And he gets fouled hard. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. 15-point Alabama advantage. A reminder, we've got 4 conference championships on ABC this weekend as the college football playoff picture takes shape. Friday night, Tulane takes on number 24 Army for the American title. Then Saturday at noon, the Big 12 championship features Arizona State and Iowa State at 4 p.m. Top 5 matchup, Texas and Georgia for the SEC crown. And we cap the night, the ACC championship between SMU and Clemson. Drake May. Pat's QB in the house. And
talk about a guy doing a lot with less, huh?
Well, R.J. Davis knocking down the first. He's got 13, but again, the issue has been from deep. He's just 1 of 7 from 3, and North Carolina 2 for 16 from beyond the arc. Davis gets them both, and the lead is at 13. Still to come, Duke and Auburn from Cameron Indoor Stadium. Some pressure from North Carolina.
Drake Powell should have came there when Phylon turned his back. He had him in the corner of the court. That's a depth trap position.
Sears. Phylon. And Jackson the rebound. Ian Jackson, the freshman, lost the handle, but it kicks out to fellow freshman Drake Powell. Powell with the size advantage over Sears. Too strong. And Houston Millett. Now Sears at the basket, and he's fouled on the floor. One of the things that's been hard, we saw Carolina put a little pressure on Alabama a couple of possessions ago, but if you're not getting makes, it's hard to set up that type of pressure, and Carolina shooting under 40% so far in this game.
Yeah, and also you have to force them into turnovers, right? I mean, that's where you have to create points off your turnovers, and I think that's what you've seen consistently from North Carolina over the last 4 games. It's just, you know, Michigan State had 50 points in the paint, and there was no answer for it. And as you're seeing here, just offensive rebound after offensive rebound. They're not being met with any physicality, and they're getting dunk after layup.
Darian Reed able to find Omori, who's got 6. Trimble fires, and that won't go. But a tough night for Seth Trimble. Reed can't hit. Rebound. And Omori is fouled.
Alabama up 15 and just dominating the paint. Just get a shot up on the rim, and we'll get the offensive rebound. Get their hands on things. And this game feels like it's starting to get away from North Carolina. Yes. The bad investment thing's a real thing, Boog.
So now I hear you. I would tug on the other end of the rope a tiny bit. When there used to be quote unquote investments in the past that we maybe didn't hear about them, there were bad investments then too, weren't there?
Very true. I didn't say there was a time span on bad investments. Maybe it's a consistent theme.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that was a great investment personally.
Still to this day. 17-point advantage, biggest of the game for Alabama as we close in on 11 to go here in the second half. And Auburn coming up at the conclusion of our game as Davis knocks it down to 2. He's got 16.
R.J. Davis struggling, but he feels like he's a guy that can turn it on. And this is a North Carolina team that can get hot. We watched them battle back, being down double digits in multiple games.
Sears in close, but couldn't finish. North Carolina trying to chip away at a 15-point deficit. Davis step back. And that rattles out. But eventually, it's Holloway with it.
Good swing.
Knocks it down. Well, we told you, getting a chance to play tonight for the first time. He's knocked down a couple of threes. The transfer from Pepperdine.
And you see right now why Alabama has an assist rate of 61%.
Sears lost the handle. Jackson head up. Davis a three.
Gotta make that.
Trimble tried to put it back in one fell swoop. Couldn't do it. Folks, this week's NBA Friday doubleheader, it starts in Boston, where Jason Tatum and the Celtics host Giannis and the Bucks, and then Anthony Edwards leads the T-Wolves out west to take on Steph and the Warriors. Coverage begins 7 Eastern on ESPN with NBA Countdown. That's coming up on Friday. That last foul on Mohamed Diabate.
Now, speaking of the Boston Celtics, Nate Oates talked a lot today about the time he spent up there in Boston, spending some time with Joe Mazzulla and their staff, really paying attention to some of the sets they run, how they defend defensively. Him and Brian Adams have really made that a point of emphasis, the assistant coach that they were able to acquire from the Detroit Pistons. And that is how Nate Oates runs his system.
Goodell will check back in. Trimble will take a seat. A 17-point advantage. Alabama on the road, the number 10 team in the country, leading the Heels here in Chapel Hill. Lob attempt, and Nelson overshot. Powell. Jackson spinning. Powell will try. Can't hit. Davis ball fake, gets inside, off the glass and in. 18 for RJ. Carolina's 2 for 20 from 3.
It's nobody's tagging man.
Reed. I mean, that's just too good a look.
I mean, they're just getting wide open looks, just rotating the ball. Nobody questions whether North Carolina can score. Now, R.J. Davis is one of the best there is, not only in the ACC, but in the country at getting to his spots and creating off the dribble. But once again, like the sense of urgency by everybody defensively to get back and to tag men and to rotate with a sense of urgency is where you see them struggling.
Kate Tyson, the Belmont transfer, is checked in for the Tar Heels. Well, you talked about wanting to see them run the ball through the post a little bit more, but who do they do that through? How do they do that?
Well, I don't think it's running it through the post. I think a guy like Withers can put the ball on the ground and attack certain matchups, right? But it's about getting them in operational positions on the court. And that's why I think those guys have to play. They have to play through that to a degree, because right now, all of your shot dependency is off the dribble for guys like Davis, Cadeau, Powell, and Trimble. And Alabama has the size, they have the length, and that's been proven time and time again defensively when they've gone against the likes of the guards of North Carolina. That's unacceptable right there, right?
And Reed able to put it in. Man, that was easy. And back the other way. Jackson answers with 2 of his own. He's got 7. Phylon off the glass and in.
It makes you feel like you're at an AAU game, doesn't it?
A little bit. LeBaron Phylon with a dozen now. Knocks it down. He's got 18 and at his season and career high. From the corner, Stevenson. Cadeau and Nelson getting tangled up. 74-60, Alabama on top.
Well, Bamalytics, 3s, 2s, and layups. Layups can be done in a variety of ways, high and soft off the glass. That's unacceptable. You got to pick a side. Can't have a shirt at North Carolina that says Alalina. What are we doing?
I mean, I feel
no.
you.
Now, for one night, pick a side. There you go. We were just talking about this. It feels like North Carolina is down 20 points. They were only down 14. Now it's 12. And 7:44 is a lot of time to get back in this game.
Stevenson the foul. Claude, the Georgia Tech grad transfer. 24 years old. One of the things you're seeing more and more in college basketball, some of these older guys. Brant Nelson leaving with his 4th foul. And Claude not able to make the free throw. Closing in on 7.5 to go here. Sears, Darian Reed. And Davis ends up with it. Cadeau to the corner, and Jackson.
You could just feel this crowd wanting North Carolina to make a run.
Yeah.
They're ready.
Sears probing. And that one taken away. Jackson, the freshman, up ahead. Puts it in.
Ian Jackson is playing like a boss.
He's got 20. And now the Dean Dome coming to life. The freshman Darian Reed throws it down with one hand. He has 9. Probably their top pro prospect.
Talk about athleticism.
Woo. Careless pass there. Phylon, lob. And Omori will go to the line with 6:25 to go.
And North Carolina in their press. Mark Sears with his head up the whole time, finding Reed with the strong finish. It's almost like you don't want to see North Carolina press. You want to see them go back to almost like a quarter containment, just to rush to get everybody back to protect the rim.
Roger Ayers trying the basketball off. Don't know whether that's perspiration or maybe some of Rogers' hair gel on there, but
the hair never moves. It just, I've been seeing this since I was a player. It's incredible.
He's got a great sense of humor, one of the top refs out there. And all right, a reminder, this Saturday, an ACC network triple header. BC takes on Wake Forest at noon Eastern. Then number 20, North Carolina, hosting Georgia Tech. We cap the afternoon with Stanford and Cal in a rivalry game. That's right, in the ACC. It's weird to hear, right?
It's taken a while for me to adjust to.
Yes.
Elliot Cadeau is a guy that's worked a lot in this game this offseason, worked with Marcus Page, one of the greatest players to play here, one of the best guards to play here on his shot, and he's made improvements. Thus far in this game, only has 4 shot attempts. Elliot Cadeau has to be more aggressive offensively. And see right there, like that's a mid-range shot for him. I know he can kick it back for the 3, but he has to start operating in that elbow range, free throw extended line. He's going to get a lot of mid-range shots.
Sears is fouled. They get Kate Tyson with the shove. And for Tyson, his first personal foul. It'll be a 1-and-1 spot. And Mark Sears will go to the line. Sears, excellent free throw shooter, career 86% on the season, 80%.
It's really incredible when you think about the career that Mark Sears has had, getting Alabama to their first Final Four in school history, with some of the players that Nate Oates has had on his roster. 6 draft picks in the first round for Nate Oates. The style is something that has lured a lot of top-tier talent. And as much as people don't want to see the college game change, what he's been on to with Bamalytics in the NBA, a lot of people are finding it attractive.
And as for Sears, the kid from Muscle Shoals, Alabama, started his career at Ohio. Left-hand scoop is good for Trimble. So Seth Trimble with the deuce. Sears being harassed. Now Stevenson kicks it up ahead. Philon at the basket, left hand and 1. 14 points for LeBaron Philon. J-Will, he has been a huge factor in this game. Close to 30 minutes.
Elliot Cadeau reaches right there. I don't know why you reach, right? When you overextend yourself, then you allow there to be a 2-on-1 situation. I mean, great finish by Philon. I understand that. Super talented as freshman. I'll rave about him in a second. But that little overextension by Cadeau, you don't need to do that. Just stay disciplined, right? They beat the trap. They beat the press. Just get back and get in a quarter containment defense.
I hear your grumpiness.
Is it grumpiness?
Philon back the other way. LeBaron Philon, by the way, does not have a turnover in almost 30 minutes in this game. The ball's been in his hand a lot, and back in his hands.
So like I said before, now it's time to rave about Philon, right? Like he's so poised for somebody his age. You see why he scored over 2,330 points in 3 years in high school. Think about that for a second. Plays like a veteran.
Philon's an interesting story. Grew up an Alabama fan. He originally committed to Auburn, and then eventually he actually backed out of a pledge to Kansas and ended up.
Well, Ryan Griffin went to Kansas, the guy that was on the Final Four team last year, playing for Bill Self. And you know, look, there's so much change. It's hard for analysts, yet alone people who are at home, to keep up with how much movement we have in college basketball.
And the coaches to integrate them into, you know, some type of a culture where there's chemistry and togetherness in a season or two.
You know, it's like a guy for R.J. Davis. You know, now they have new players on their roster, and not having the continuity of Harrison Ingram or Armando Bacot. He's not an extremely vocal guy, but now he has to do more of that. And I get a lot of that struggle and the challenges that come along with that. Especially for the year that R.J. Davis had last year. There's a lot of him wanting to find a way to do that again, so he puts more pressure on himself.
Up and under and a foul as Washington will go to the line and shoot 2. 4:27 to go. This one has been Alabama most of the way. Maury charged with that last foul, his second. 16-point advantage for the Crimson Tide. I've been impressed. I mean, look, both these teams have played a good schedule. Alabama's played a phenomenal schedule. That's been a staple under Nate Oates since coming from Buffalo. They play as tough a schedule as anybody in the country. And in the middle of this 7-game gauntlet that still has Creighton to come. But yeah, you're reading that correctly. 1-1-1-1. Yeah, best.
I mean, do your homework early, right? I mean, that's what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Talk about going against Houston, going against Oregon, going against Rutgers. Some of their really big wins. Playing in the Players era, which is a huge tournament.
Yep.
You know, for 8 figures. It's been interesting hearing a lot of coaches talk around not wanting to be part of MTE's multiple team events, playing 3 hard opponents in 3 days.
Yep.
I'm all for that, bro. I like challenges, and you know, I know it's a lot, but we used to play 3 games in 1 day as AAU players back in the day, right? So obviously I know AAU is very different than college basketball, and obviously what it does to coaches in their resumes. But where you do that, how far that is away from your home is dependent upon it as well.
Well, Danny Hurley was the one that really made the statement that he'd never do it again. That one, they're looking for a foul on the Carolina bench. Sears back the other way. The lead is 13.
You think Danny Hurley makes that same comment if they win all 3 games?
No.
Exactly.
Out of bounds, it'll stay Alabama basketball with 10 to go. 82-6. Again, you're looking at one of the premier talents in college basketball. But again, still learning, right?
Well, I think they have, I said it earlier, I think they have the most talent and the most depth out of any big team in a long time. Now, whether that talent and depth translate towards them winning another national championship is a completely different story. I think the concern I have about Duke is just their ability to have a playmaker that makes the game easy for everybody else. And what I've seen with Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple, they get involved in ball screens, but I don't think you can do that consistently. I think you have to do that in doses. So we'll see how those other guards step up as they continue to mature and crystallize as a team.
Maury, the easy flush. North Carolina looking for a 3 here. 3 for 25 from beyond the arc. And there's Seth Trimble knocking one down. He's got a dozen points. They set up the pressure. Sears being trapped, steps through, finds Nelson up to Holloway. Alabama's been in control in this one.
Have executed the Nate Oates plan to perfection, making life very difficult for RJ Davis and company. They've been going under ball screens on the likes of Trimble and Cadeau. And they've been knocking down shots at a high clip, man.
Aiden Holloway with 15. And again, Latrell Wrightsell suffering that Achilles injury. Good players, averaging 11.5 points a game. And
I mean, think about what this team could have been if Wrightsell didn't get hurt. I mean, they also have Chris Youngblood coming back. He's a transfer from USF. He provides physicality and elite shooting. I mean, they are loaded with firepower.
89-74, back in 30 seconds.
Trips to the Sweet 16, program's first ever appearance in the Final Four. And 117 wins in 5 seasons, most wins in a 5-year span in program history.
Yeah, I mean, he's taken this program. When you talk about the power of the SEC, right now, it starts with Nate Oates in Alabama.
Yeah.
Travel, Roger Ayers and Brian O'Connell Discussing, wasn't able to move there, and so a turnover. Jackson knocks it down.
Him and Greg Powell have been super impressive. I mean, they're active, they're long, they're engaged, they attack, they're not afraid. The future is bright for those young two.
With 1:20 to go, the lead is a dozen for Alabama.
It's going up deep, has to.
Sears. And that wouldn't fall. And they'll go possession arrow, and it belongs to North Carolina.
Obviously a disappointing loss for North Carolina. Wanted to get that sense from them coming off some of those tough losses in Maui. But just going against a team that is just loaded offensively, just has so many weapons.
Moving left hand is good.
And this has been dominance by the SEC.
Well, they're going to improve to 10-1 in this challenge.
And Duke is a good basketball team, but I do believe that Auburn is playing the best basketball in the country. They have the talent, they have the depth, and they have the experience, most importantly.
I beg your pardon, it'll be 11-1 as Florida beat Virginia. There's Sears with the icing on the cake as he knocks down the triple and has 20. Jackson stuffed by the rim.
I'm okay with that. That's your leader. Nothing easy. Obviously frustrated by this whole situation. Look, this North Carolina team has talent. Obviously, from their low post perspective, they need rim protection. That's going to be an ongoing challenge for them. They can't allow a team to shoot the percentage that Alabama, Michigan State, and Kansas have shot from in the paint. But they can do it collectively. They come together. They learn how to fight together. They just need to keep competing and playing for Hubert Davis.
Now, some of the Alabama fans that are left as the Carolina fans make their way out yelling "Roll Tide." 94-79. Davis over Sears, and that'll do it. 94-79 the final.